Welcome back to the Transform Your Mind to Transform Your Life radio, podcast, and television show. I'm your host, Life Coach Marina Young, and sitting in the guest chair today is Keri Blair, personal stylist and image consultant. And today we are going to be talking on the topic, the power of personal style, insights on personal style and personal brand. Welcome, Keri.
Thank you. I'm so excited to be with you. Thanks for having me.
I'm so excited to be here too. This show is over 5 years old, and I've never had anyone come on and talk about personal styling. So I love new content. So
I
hope
love
you
it.
guys, yes, I hope that, you guys get a lot of our conversation today, because I know that I definitely will. So awesome. All right. So let me give you guys a short introduction to Keri. Keri Blair, as I mentioned before, she's a personal stylist and image consultant with a one-of-a-kind approach, and she prides herself on making a profound difference in people's lives with her work. Keri and her team are known as a secret weapon and are trusted advisors to their extensive clientele across the country. She has over 20 years of experience styling executives and high-profile clients, drawing upon her experience in some of the world's most dynamic and beautiful cities, including New York, Los Angeles, Paris, and Milan. I guess those are all the fashion capitals of the world. So that's awesome.
They sure are.
Yeah. So Keri, I always like to understand my guest's journey to where they are today. So how did you become a personal stylist and image consultant?
So great question. I started my business, like I said, over 20 years ago. Before then, I was doing sales. I was traveling the country, selling a variety of things. And I noticed that I couldn't dress the same way when I was selling in a boardroom in New York City as if I were in Texas, as in LA. So that kind of started me on my journey. I thought, wow, wait a minute. They're not listening to me here when I dress like this. But if I dress like this, they will. And I also led transformational programs for over 10 years. So I have that background. And I would take breaks from my sales career and I would go work at Nordstrom for 6 months. And then I would go back into my sales career, and then I would take a break and go work at Neiman Marcus for 6 months. And during that time, what I realized was a lot of people didn't feel great about how they looked. I think that's safe to say that it's actually the majority of people don't.
Right.
On any given day. And I thought if people weren't so busy tugging at their pants and wondering how they looked and worried about how they looked, that they could make a bigger difference in the world. They could make more money. They could have better relationships. Their confidence would go through the roof. And that's really why I started this business. It had nothing to do with fashion for me. It was really about making people feel unbelievable and empowering them to be their best selves.
Yeah,
So that was my journey.
That's amazing. And when I was internalizing our conversation, I thought to myself, when we're going to be talking about making a first impression in a little while. And I remember that when I was exactly what you're saying, because I was a salesperson for, when I got out of college, I went into selling computers, and I sold computers for quite a while. And then when I moved here to Canada, to the US, I sold, I worked in a call center for most of the time, but then I went on the road as a salesperson. And one of the things as a salesperson is that you've got to look successful.
Yes.
And I remember, worrying about your purse and your suit and getting the right colors, like the power colors and all that. But yes, I can understand what you're saying, where, if you're New York, then you've got to have the power suit and the briefcase. But then when you go to Texas, maybe it's a little bit laid back. I don't know what you wear there, but you've got to wear something that fits into the culture. Let's put it that way. So I can understand And then you're saying you're going to the top stores. Like I love Neiman Marcus. You know, I go in there and I see these outfits and these prices for the clothing, and can't believe that people pay for that. But they do that is because the, you know, a $10,000 suit or something says something about their brand and their style and all that. So what did you learn from the stores that you took into your business?
Oh gosh. I think mostly what I learned was about people who shop in the stores. I think I learned way more about the people than I did
Okay.
about the actual stores because I had a different approach than most people. So I love figuring out what makes people tick and like how the human mind works. And so I would see these people, and some of them were powerful people that would come in and want a great outfit, but the minute they started trying on clothes, their confidence level was low and their insecurities was high. And I thought, oh, isn't that interesting? It doesn't matter how much money they made or what they can spend. We all have the same issues. So that's what I really learned is like we're all the same. And it doesn't matter if you shop at Neiman Marcus or at Ross Dress for Less or wherever you shop. What matters is feeling great in the clothes that you put on your body.
All right, so this is opening up a big gamut of questions here. So
Good.
one, so yes, the people that have the money to pay top dollar at Neiman Marcus, because I go at the clearance. The
Whatever
people
works.
that have money to buy top dollar are usually the people though that can afford to, you know, get a personal trainer and maybe get a chef or something. But even if they have body image issues, I think that's what we're saying. If they have body image issues, it doesn't really matter if they were in a $10,000 outfit or a $50 outfit from Ross Dress for Less. So, but I thought that a stylist, for instance, would be able to, let's say if you're in a larger size body, put you in something that downplays that. Isn't that what stylists do?
Yeah, absolutely. Yes, absolutely. And this isn't just about body issues. It's about issues. I mean, we're human beings and we've got some issues, right? That's why you and I have a job.
Right.
So
Right.
it goes deeper than our bodies.
Okay.
And but yes, when you hire a stylist, we can camouflage what you don't love about your body and
Right.
accentuate what you do love about your body. And in fact, I go a lot deeper with my clients and I give them um I help them transform their relationship with their body.
Mm.
So it's like before you even put the clothes on, what's your relationship with your body? Because for the most part, because you brought up the body thing, for the most part, we punish ourselves, right? I mean,
Right.
sometimes my size 0 and 2 clients are harder on themselves than my size 26 clients.
You're kidding.
So, no,
Wow.
it doesn't matter. I don't even know where we learned it. I think it's at a very young age. We start being critical and hard on our bodies, and then we don't know how to dress them. And we kind of have like, I don't know, a dysfunctional view of ourselves.
Mhm.
And yes, when you have a great outfit on, it does make you feel more confident about your body. And you can also work on your body before you get the great outfit. They kind of go hand in hand.
Yes. And I can understand that because, I just recently, like I shop at Neiman Marcus. It's funny you brought that one up. So I would go to Neiman Marcus and I'll buy all these clothes and then I'll go into to try them on. And let's say I take 12 in there, like one fits the way I want it to fit.
Yeah.
But yeah, but I have a way that, when I look at my image, there's something, and it's not even something that I'm aware of, but there's a way that I like to look, right?
Yeah.
So when I put on the clothes, I look for if it's doing something for me. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? What is it accentuating? What is it? It's the color, what is the cut, you know, whatever. So if I look at it and it doesn't do anything for me, even if it fits, then I'm not going to get it. So
Good,
let's talk about that now.
good.
How does branding and image connect?
Oh my gosh. So a lot of people don't know what I mean by personal branding, but it's just like a company. So you're branding your company, or you look at a brand of a major company and they are very specific about the font they use and the color that they
Mm,
use and
yes.
the people that they'll let represent their brand, right?
Mhm.
Very, very intense, spend millions of dollars on branding. But when it comes to us as human beings, a lot of human beings are not thinking through what's my personal brand. They're just getting dressed hoping that it works. And a lot of times they even know it doesn't work and they still leave the house in it.
Right, 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 right.
So when you can create, so it takes less than 3 seconds to make a first impression. And we've all heard that over and over, right? You never get
Mhm.
a second chance to make a great first impression.
Right. Mhm.
And it doesn't matter that we've heard it over and over again. People are not doing anything about it. It's just something that you heard once. But if you can take control of your first impression, you specifically design it and then have your wardrobe match it, then miracles are available in your life because what people see is what you want them to see. So, for
Mhm.
instance, if you want to be known as an expert in your field, successful, polished, sophisticated, you've got to dress that part, right? I use
Mhm.
this can I use an example with you which is
Of
kind of funny?
course.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, so imagine you're at a networking event or a party and there's a bunch of people and you see this guy across the room. No offense if you are this guy to any of our listeners, but let's see this guy across the room. And he's short, he's bald, he's portly, and you look across the room and you think, I have nothing in common with that guy. And so you don't talk to him, right?
Mhm.
Happens every day.
Mhm.
I'm just using an extreme example, but we do it every single day. Then that fast forward, the end of the party, you're with your best friend, and they say, oh my gosh, you have to meet Joe. And they introduce you to this man.
Right.
Joe turns out, by the way, when you looked at him, you thought he's an accountant or some boring
Right. Right.
profession,
Right.
right?
Right.
Joe comes over and he is hysterical. Funniest guy you've ever met. You are instantly BFFs. Like you can't get enough of this guy. So much fun to be around. But see, Joe missed the mark because from across the room, he turned you away in the way he appeared, right? So his brand or his first impression didn't match who he really was on the inside. And that's why personal branding and first impressions so imperative because people are seeing you from across the room and they're making split-second judgments. They're not trying to be superficial. It's just we live in such a fast-paced society. You have to make up your mind instantly. And you may be turning people off that you really want to get to know or you really can make a difference in their lives. So that's why I'm so passionate about it. And I think it's so important to take control of how the world sees you.
Yeah. I love that you went to the balding, portly guy. I thought that you were gonna go to the tall, handsome, person with the tailored suit
Oh, I
and
could
the
go there
nice
too.
hair, and like every woman is staring at him, and they want to, yeah,
Yeah.
they attract people. And then if
Right.
you go talk to him, maybe you find out that he's, whatever.
Dull.
But yes, that guy
Yeah.
is given a great first impression. So
Hmm.
I like that. I like that. But since you started with that
Yeah.
particular image, let's say that this guy hired you to become his image consultant. What would you tell him to do? Because he's not, because you're still working with the physical. What would you do?
For sure. What a great question. No one's ever asked me that. I love that. Okay, so the first step is figuring out what he wants his personal brand to be. So I go really in depth with people and figure out I kind of treat it like it is your company, right? So, what do you want people to know about who you are when they first look at you? What about, and it's not about pretending to be someone that you're not, right? Because you can go that direction. For me, it's not about that. I think every person is exquisite on the inside. So, what are your best qualities on the inside that we want to shine through to the outside for people to see? So, it's like there's no difference between the outside and the inside. They just get who you are. And that's again when the law of attraction kicks in, when miracles happen. So, that would be the
Mhm.
first step is figure out what does he want that look to be? And then you deal with everything else, but you can create that look. He's still the same person, right?
Mhm.
And so we can create that look no matter what his body looks like.
Okay. All right. Well, that's good. Well, let's switch that to a personal question for me.
Okay.
So now I am, I told you I get free coaching here.
I love it. I love it.
So in the podcasting world, right?
Mhm.
Um, it's usually male dominated, and they wear a t-shirt, right? That's the new style now. Yeah, it started with what's the guy from Apple? But anyway, everybody just
Yeah.
wears a t-shirt. Now, me, when I come on a podcast, I am thinking in the back of my head that I want to look like if I'm on the Today Show
Yes.
or broadcasting somehow. What does anchors wear? So that's basically how I go about it.
I love it.
What would you say to someone that, you know, um, uh, trying to match the brand with what they do? I mean, trying to match their wardrobe with what they do. It's not right, right?
Okay, I'm not quite sure exactly what you're asking, but I can go in 5 different directions here. So,
Okay.
I love what you're doing because I believe that why you're doing that is because you are stepping into the role that you're playing as a
Yes.
podcast host. Yes.
Yes. Right. Yes.
And
Yes. You
you're
got it.
also doing that because that builds your confidence level.
Right.
And that's what's important in life.
Mm-hmm.
So, what's interesting to me is I think through the pandemic, right, people got super casual. Is that when it probably happened that people started wearing t-shirts a lot or their
It was
sweatpants?
before then. It's a
Okay.
trend that's been going on for a while. Like I
Okay.
said, the guy
Well,
from
I
Apple
saw it in,
started it. Right.
yeah, I saw it in most industries through the pandemic.
Okay.
And then it's lasted, right? People wearing their sweatpants on the bottom or what have you. And the thing, or wearing their slippers. And I work with a lot of CEOs and executives that also fell prey to that, right?
Right. Right.
And when once I get back a hold of them, which I always do, and then I say, what have you been doing? Like how do you feel when you do that? And they unanimously tell me, well, I don't feel as good. Well, then why are you doing it?
Right.
Well, that's what everybody else is doing and it's
It's true.
comfortable. So why not do it?
Yeah.
So the most important thing is how does it make you feel? Like, do you feel your best when you're dressing the way that you dress? Or do you not? If you don't, then do something about it. If you do, then that's awesome. Right. So this is all about being the best you possible and having the light of who you are on the inside really shine through so others can see it.
Yeah, I hear you. I like that. Because like if you're in a place where everybody's wearing a t-shirt and you got to wear a t-shirt and sneakers, that's what they're doing now, t-shirt and sneakers. Um, and it doesn't make you feel good, then you don't wear it. But if it makes you feel good and you're thinking, wow, yeah, I hate those suits. And I'm glad that we don't have to get suits anymore and tie. And I can be comfortable in my t-shirt. That's great. But also I'm glad that um uh, it was, I guess it was it is what I'm, what's in the back of my head. But you know, they would always tell you in coaching or even in a corporate world dress for the role that you want to get, not
Yep.
the role that you have now. So you
Yep.
jumped into that right away when I told you that I'm dressing like if I'm on a, an anchor in a news, because at one point in time, that's where I wanted to be.
Yeah.
Not sure if I want to be there now, but that's basically when I started doing this work. That was my end goal, right?
Yeah. And it makes you feel good to dress that way, doesn't it? Like I can tell, like the way that you're dressed today in this gorgeous yellow shirt and your colorful necklace, you just look stunning, and you vibrate like happiness and joy and sophistication. And that's important. Even if you're the only person that can see it, that's important.
Yes, that's true. Right. If I was on the radio and people can just hear me. But yes, I'm on the podcast, and I mean, I'm on the YouTube as well as a TV show. So that's great. All right. Now, you touched on something a little bit earlier when you talked about confidence, your style confidence. So, but you also have a thing, you call it the style confidence connection. So, how does clothes connect your confidence level?
Okay, great. So, I mean, we could all just look back to how we started our morning, right? So we all start our morning in the exact same way, which is we go to our closet and put clothes on. And based on what you choose, your confidence either goes up or it goes down, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's why it's so important to have a style that's yours and that you love and that feels great, because then instantly your confidence level goes up. Like and hopefully a lot of people have this, but that outfit that you put on that you're like, oh, I am going to nail it today. Right?
Yeah.
I think people's entire wardrobes should be that, so that you nail it every day. Because if you leave the house looking amazing, you feel amazing, and then you're going to knock it out of the park no matter what you're doing, no matter if you're going to hang out with your kids or go to a networking event or ask for a deal. It doesn't matter. You start off with a higher level, which I love, when I think it's so imperative. And, I see most people who apologize for how they look.
Really?
All the time. I will go to school events with my child or a party, and people will say, oh, sorry, I was running late, so I didn't have time to change. Or, oh, sorry, I didn't know stop apologizing and do something, right?
Yeah.
Take control of your
You're even
life.
bringing more attention to it when you apologize. Maybe somebody didn't even notice.
Yeah. And take the time to make a difference. And if you don't like the way that you look before you leave the house, spend 5 minutes, just 5 minutes to alter something to change your day, because it will change your day, which will then change your life.
Yeah. Accessorizing is important. Like I've seen, you just put on a necklace. You're right.
Right?
I'm wearing a really pretty necklace. I walked into the store one night and I saw it and I thought, wow, that's a nice necklace. But I'm a colorful person. And that happens with me, what you've just said, when I put on something that looks really drab on me. I mean, I light up with colors. My personality lights up with colors. And, there's one time I would say a pastel is good, like a pastel green or something. And I put it on and it doesn't do anything for me and I wouldn't wear it again. But I know what you mean about you putting something on that makes you feel confident or whatever. But one of the tricks that I do, and it's a spiritual thing for me, whenever I go into my closet, I don't go in there with a predetermined outfit in mind. I go in there and I let myself be led. And that works so wonderful for me, because when I let myself be led and I put on the outfit, it always knocks it out of the world, because it's the right outfit for that particular day, that particular time, that particular event. And I just let it flow.
I do the exact same thing.
Really?
I really do. I go in my closet, I think about my days, or I look at my calendar and I see, what do I have going on today? And then I walk into my closet and I look to see what is going to really, I don't know, lift me up for today. And then I choose that outfit. So I'm with you. I think that's a brilliant way. See, you're doing it right. You didn't even know.
That's exactly how I do it. Yes, and you're right. When you pick it like that, it always lifts you up. A lot of people, which I don't know if they do it now, but in the olden days, let's say you've got to go to work and you pick out all your outfits for the rest of the week. But that means that you're not feeling, your outfit. You're picking out before. And I let the outfits speak to me. So that's
Yeah,
amazing. All right,
I love
now
that.
this is the big now this is one of the biggest questions I have here, I think, because of
Okay.
our conversation with personal style and your brand. So how can we take our image and business life to the next level, or personal brand or image or business to the next level? Now, before you answer that, let's put some context to it. Let's say that like I said, I was a salesperson for the longest, and there's no other job that works towards how you look and your brand than when you're selling something. You know what I mean? Because when you walk in first, you want to have confidence, you want to look good, and you don't want somebody to think that, oh, you're struggling and you're poor, you're not making any money. Even if you have not a dime in your pocket, you need to look the part. At least that's what I think.
Yeah.
So how do you teach people to take their image to the next level?
Great question. Really great question. And one I think is under asked. So the first thing is what I talked about earlier, which is designing your first impression. So instead of getting dressed in a haphazard way, because something could look good on you that doesn't fit your first impression, right? So, but if you know who you are on the inside and what you want others to know about you through how you are on the outside, that's where you really want to begin. So, what is your first impression? A. Then B, oh my gosh, I have this whole process I walk people through. B, get to know your body, learn to love your body. That's a tough one for people, but I have exercises that I walk people through so that they can transform their relationships with their body. And then know your colors. Also, know what colors look great on you. Color has a certain vibration. So even if you have this amazing outfit on that looks awesome, and if it's the wrong color, then
Yes.
it didn't work.
Right.
Right. So there's so many different aspects to having a great first impression and a great style. Then there's the next step is going through your closet and getting rid of things that don't serve you. They no longer match your vibration. They no longer match your first impression. They no longer fit you, what have you. But get rid of the clutter. I'm a big advocate that if you want to accomplish big things in life, you have to remove what doesn't serve you.
Right. Right. Right.
And it's
Mm-hmm.
the same in our closet. So most people only wear 25% of what's in there, but then we're dealing with all of the clutter every morning.
Right.
But if you just knew these are the things that I nail it with, I feel unbelievable. I look gorgeous. I'm nailing my first impression. And then only buying things that light you up and that make you feel great and that match your brand. The biggest thing that I see people do over and over and over is they'll keep things in their wardrobe because you never know when I'm going to need that, right?
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
they
Yeah.
buy something because, well, I got a great deal on it and I'm
Yeah.
sure it'll come in handy at some point. And those are things that we do which are a disservice to our brand and our personal image. And if you can nail your brand and you can nail this first impression and you radiate who you really are on the inside and shine through the outside, I have clients that have tripled their income in 3 months. I mean,
Wow.
when I say miracles happen, I really do mean that. I have clients that have been up for a vice president position and got it 6 months after working together when they weren't up for the promotion for 2 years. So
Wow.
you really can, um, yeah, you really can have anything with your business, with your personal life, with it all.
Yes. Okay. So yes, it's very true. And as you were talking, I remember, did you ever see The Proposal with Sandra Bullock?
Yes. I love that
Right?
movie. Yes.
I wanted to wear that skirt and that top. I love that look with the pencil skirt and all that. But you're right. Not everybody has that kind of body, right?
Right. Oh, you brought up this brilliant point because people
Mhm,
see things on other people or on a mannequin and they think,
mhm.
I should be able to wear that because I love that look or even that color. Like you look gorgeous in that color, but if I put it on, it would be a disaster. Right. And it
Yeah.
happens to me. I'll be styling a client and I'll be like, oh my gosh, I love that outfit. I need to buy it for myself. And it looks terrible on me.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we've got to stay in our own lanes and be true to ourselves, right?
Mhm.
You can love something all day long, but if it doesn't really fit who you are,
Yes.
then just
Because I've
admire it on
tried
other
that look.
people.
And it doesn't really work on me because, she was like a size 0 or something, number
That
one, and taller. But I
I'm
mean,
like, it
she
doesn't
rocked
work on
that
me
look.
either.
What was that?
I said, girl, it doesn't work on me either.
So I don't know why I brought that up. That just popped into my head. But
Yeah.
really, what I want to talk about, we've been talking about brand for, we've been throwing that around.
Yeah.
Um, uh, so how does somebody say, well, this is my brand and this is the type of clothes that fits my brand? I know we talked about the fact that, we're bringing how we feel on the inside out. And for me, yes, I'm very bubbly and effervescent and I like color and I have dark skin and those things. And, when I choose an outfit, I'm looking for color and I'm looking for shape and I'm looking for certain things that I know works for me. But I wouldn't go as far as saying it's my brand. So put that in a little box for us. How do we find a personal brand?
Well, it's like I said earlier,
Mhm.
you've got to create, and sometimes I tell people to come up with 3 to 5 adjectives that best describe who you are
Okay.
and what you want other people to know about you. And sometimes that's the hardest question I ever ask someone because you'd be amazed how many people can't answer that question.
It's true.
So you've got to do some work and see what do I really want people to know about me by that first 3 seconds. It might even be faster now. But in those first glances where I can't shake their hand, I can't smile, I can't do anything, what do I want to have them know about who I am? And once you can come up with 3 to 5 adjectives, that's your first step. Come up with
Mhm.
those adjectives. Then go through your closet and try things on and say, does this express those adjectives? No. If it doesn't, get rid of it. If it does, keep it. Right. And then sometimes this process takes people a while. And I've had people do fun exercises. I just did a mastermind that we just completed. And one of the exercises I had people do was once you create your first impression in your brand, get on Pinterest and play around with it and look and see what's their first impression right now. What's their brand right now? Because sometimes when we see it in others, that helps us see it in ourselves.
That's actually a good one. It's really interesting. I was at a concert on the weekend and I said to my daughter, what do people wear at a concert? Because I don't go to very many concerts. And she said, go on Pinterest. But then I figured it out on my own and I looked really great because I thought to myself, okay, what, like you said, what do I want to convey at this concert? You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And I picked a nice top. And but yeah, she says, well, go on Pinterest and figure out what you want people wear at concerts. But
And I love that you
it,
said that because sometimes
yeah.
people only consider their brand for business and
Mhm.
they don't consider it when they're running errands, if you will. And that's the biggest mistake people make, in my opinion, because uh, you'll run into people that you want to do
Yes,
business with, that you want to get to
yes,
know at the grocery store or at
yes.
the post office. And I have people that have these pristine looks and then they wear sweatpants to the grocery store
And
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 want
and
to
I heard you
avoid
talk about
people
slippers. Yeah,
and
slippers.
slippers.
For the
And I'm
longest while,
like,
I wouldn't wear slippers out of the house because to me it doesn't
right.
convey that. But then became popular. But yes,
And it confuses people. So what you do is in that moment you ruin your brand because it
yes,
confuses people. People
yes,
think, "Wait, is that who she is or is that who she is?" So
yes.
you want to make sure that your brand is consistent. And I'm not saying you always have to be dressed up. you can wear cute athleisure wear, but have your look be consistent over all the different areas of your life.
Yes,
Yeah.
I totally agree with that. All right. So, okay, so now you have, let's talk about your course. You have a 6-week course that's called your why can I say that?
Curated.
Curated style.
Yeah.
Getting tongue-tied. It's not even a hard word.
Okay.
Yes, your curated style. So
Yeah.
talk about that. I mean, we probably covered some of it here because you just
Yeah.
talked about the steps that you take people through, but here
Yeah.
you can expand. Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah. So, after working almost 21 years with executives and CEOs, I thought it was a shame that only wealthy people or people that had a lot of money could hire me. And I have a unique system that I know changes people's lives. So I spent a year figuring out, how do I transform people's lives over there where you are in your house in a short period of time. So I designed Your Curated Style. It's a 6-week course, and I walk you through what I walk all my clients through, and it's life changing. So I work with you on how to design your first impression. I work with you on transforming your relationship with your body. What colors? How do you know what colors are good? How do you edit your closet? And then we go into shopping, and I go deep into shopping. I'll tell you designer names, I'll tell you stores. And again, I have clients on all different budgets and all different sizes. So I run the gamut. You don't have to worry about something not working for you, and accessorizing and makeup. I mean, we cover it all so that at the end of 6 weeks, you can be the brand that you want to be. And it's so inspiring. People really have produced the same results as if they worked with me one on one. So that's a real fulfillment for me that, it's pretty accessible.
Yeah. Well, because it goes into depth, and anytime as a coach, clarity is one of the first things. So that's basically what you do. You're bringing clarity
Yeah.
to, the relationship with the body, their relationship, with their clothes and things like that. So once you fill their heads with the possibilities and, let them understand who they
Yeah.
are, then yes.
And what's
And
great is
makeup
they
and
have lifetime.
accessories. What
Yeah.
was that?
And what's great is that they have lifetime access to this course, because
Right.
we don't just create our personal style and our brand once, because as you evolve in life, you want to recreate. So
Yes.
let's say you're where you're at now, and then you go to the next level. Well, then at that next
Yes.
level, we've got
I
to
become
create
an
who you now
anchor
are.
on, yes. On the Today Show. All right, let's call it out.
Exactly, right? You go, girl. You got this.
Right. But then they probably have personal stylists there anyway. Yes, television. They have makeup and stylists
Most
and the
of
whole
them
thing
do.
there. But yeah, but
Most of them do.
yes. But still, you would know what works for you, right? Because
Yeah.
anyway, like I've seen people on these shows, and I wouldn't wear what they're wearing. I look at it and I'm thinking that doesn't really work for you. So I'm
Yes.
thinking, do they have a stylist, or they're just putting things on themselves?
I think it depends on the show and their budget, right?
Yeah, yeah. So basically, what I'm saying, it's very true. Doesn't always
Yeah.
work for people. So it's
Yeah.
awesome. All right. So how can people get in touch with you? How can they sign up for your course? I started following you on Instagram, so talk about your social media handles and things like that as well.
Great. So the course is yourcuratedstyle.com. I also have a podcast.
Oh, really?
Yes, it's called
I did not
Style
know
Your
that.
Dreams. I just started it. It's called
Okay.
Style Your Dreams. And it's fun, bite size. And then my social media is The Style Studio by KB. And I also have YouTube videos. So lots of free content if people want to dabble in fun, have fun. You can check out my YouTube channel as well.
And the YouTube channel is under what?
The Style Studio by KB.
It's Style Studio. I like that word. Yes.
Thanks. Well, that's the
Okay.
company that I style people under. It's the Style Studio by Keri Blair in Denver, Colorado.
Oh, nice. That's where you're at. Oh,
That's where I'm
awesome.
at.
That's awesome. All right, Keri. Yeah, so this has been an interesting conversation. Yes, I love the fact that we're doing how you help people to understand their brand, their personal brand. And I like how you started off by saying that the larger companies, their brand is so important to them. You know, you're talking about the font, you're talking about who they get to support them. I mean, you know, they're not support them, but the people that they get to be spokespeople. And
Mhm.
that's why brands drop you like a hot potato when you do something that would tarnish their image, right?
Yep.
Because the people that they select to represent their brand is also, you know, helping them to set their brand. So
Yep.
I like how you say that, and we bring it into our own personal space. And your brand, you know, we didn't say that, but your brand is just like how you know, the major companies don't have anybody do things that would tarnish their brand by their personal behavior. Then you can also do the same thing, like you said. If your personal brand is a certain quality that you want to make sure it's there, then you know what you post is important. You know how
Mhm.
you behave is important. You
Yep.
know, when you go on the street in the to go to the grocery store, you don't go with slippers on and curlers in your hair.
Hopefully not.
Because guess what? You're running to somebody that you know, and you'll
Mhm.
be sliding into a corner ashamed, right? So why
Yep.
not, right? So it's very important. Your brand is yes, it's a whole gamut, and wardrobe and how you look is just one small piece of it. So I'm glad that Keri takes you through the whole thing and not just, you know, when I'm thinking of a personal style, I'm thinking about just the clothes, and that's basically how I started off. You know, picking clothes that does something for you. For
Mhm.
instance, I would see heavier women, and you can't tell that they're heavier because of the way some stylist has styled them. And
Mhm.
then you see the people that doesn't have that kind of understanding, wear stuff and everything is hanging loose, you know.
Yep. Yeah.
Right. And right. And you might think, did she look in the mirror when she left the house, or they don't care, or whatever. But yes, you can, and that's basically when I think of style and image, I think of the clothes. But yes, but everything that you do, you've got to understand it first. And that's why Keri takes you through your relationship with your body. And I'm glad when you said about you've got, you know, size 0 and 2 models, that's really models, to a size 26. And the size 2 is probably thinking that they're too fat.
Yep.
And the
True.
size 26 is saying there's nothing wrong with me.
Oh.
Right? You're laughing. Is that how it works?
I mean, I just want every woman to love our bodies because
Yes.
we're all unique. We're all beautiful and divine in our own nature. And it doesn't matter your size. And God created you to be gorgeous, and you
Yes.
are. And
Yes.
it's more about how we view ourselves
Mhm.
and get rid
Yes.
of the critical nature of how we view ourselves and let
Mhm.
it go and shine bright and be your beautiful self.
Yes, yes. And one last thing you're saying, if you look in the mirror, you don't like what you see, then change it. Right.
Exactly.
So,
Yes.
right, you change it. If you don't like what you see, change it. If you like what you see, then that
Keep
builds
it.
confidence. It shows up in everything that you do, in your wardrobe, in how you present yourself, your confidence level, and it's the whole thing. And yes, if you look good, you feel good. So
Yeah.
that's one of the things. So thank you guys for tuning in to the Transform Your Mind to Transform Your Life. You know, Keri is transforming your lives as far as transforming the way you look and your brand and your image. So that's awesome. Um, a transcript of my conversation with Keri will be on the show page, which is blog.myhelps.us. And I will link out to her podcast, her YouTube channel, and her website so that you guys can go ahead and take a look at her course. Like she says, it's very accessible for anyone. And it's much cheaper than hiring her as your personal stylist. So
Much.
thank you guys for tuning in. As we wrap up, Keri, any last words?
I'm just thrilled to be with you, and I love the work that you're doing. I think it's so important that we all take a step back in all aspects of our lives and see how we can be our best selves. And this is just one more way to see how we can be our best selves.
Yes, yes. How you can be a best self, yes. And yeah, it starts with basically how you look, whether, we didn't touch much on it, but if you want to wear a t-shirt and it makes you feel good, then that's it. And if you want to dress up like me and pretend that you're an anchor.
Then go for that.
We can do that too, right? Yes.
Right. I love it.
All right, guys. Well, listen, thank you for tuning in. If you're listening to this on iTunes, we'd love for you to rate and review. If you're listening to this on YouTube or watching this on YouTube, then we'd love for you to subscribe, because I bring you quality guests like Keri every week so that I can help you to transform your mind so that you can transform your life. Until next time, namaste.